Hello, good afternoon. I am Kris and I have the pleasure to be the director of St Andrews Refugee Services. Thank you very much to Syria Al-Gad for inviting us here today. I am extremely proud of the partnership that we have made together with Syria Al-Gad. It's incredibly important to my organisation. It's incredibly important to me personally. And because of it, I am lucky enough to look around the room and see people who I regard as my friends. And I see some people who made me dance at an iftar, and I still have not forgiven them. But thank you, the dancing was wonderful for me, not for the people watching me dance. So. But thank you for that. St Andrews Refugee Services, we began in 1979, and we've always been quite well known for the work that we do for African and Iraqi refugees in particular. I started this job a little bit more than 2 years ago, and when I arrived, I noticed that we weren't really doing very much at all for Syrian refugees. And I did not know why that was. Was it because Syrian refugees did not want to work with us, did not need the things that we were offering? And I didn't think that that would be true, because we have a good amount of experience in terms of the work that we've done with refugees. And so I wanted to find out what the reason was, and in that journey, in finding out, and in also in working with and for Syrian refugees, I had two very good pieces of luck. The first piece of luck was that we had a Syrian English teacher at St Andrews Refugee Services. At St Andrews, we work in the areas of education for preschool children and adults. We work in psychosocial, providing medical assistance, psychosocial assistance for adults and unaccompanied children. And we also help people with their refugee status cases and resettlement at UNHCR. So we do quite a lot. But we had this English teacher, a Syrian man. His name is Mortaz. And there was something about Mortaz that made him stand out. Anyway, it seemed to me like it would be a good idea for Mortaz to become our Syrian community outreach officer. And I managed to persuade him, even though he said to me, "But I know nothing about community outreach, why are you offering me this job?" I insisted, and he took the job, and we began a journey of communicating with and working with the Syrian refugee populations in Cairo. And it was through him that we then realized that there were wonderful Syrian refugees who could do wonderful things in working for us. And we have some incredible staff who are Syrian refugees. Ala, others, Salam, Yara, Lijain, Mazabir. We've had wonderful luck. But the second really big piece of luck was when Mortaz came across Syria Al-Gad. And he insisted that I come to meet Dr. Molam. And it was my great pleasure and my privilege to go and meet Dr. Molam in his offices. And we sat across his desk and we talked about what we might be able to do together. And it's a bit odd in some ways because we do some similar things, and so why would Syria Al-Gad like to work with St. Andrew's Refugee Services? We're part of a church in downtown Cairo, and why would we want to work with Syria Al-Gad? What was very obvious to me immediately was the dedication of Syria Al-Gad to assisting Syrian refugee populations in Cairo, and the different way that they go about their work. There is a level of commitment and of organization that you don't often see. We are an organization that just exists here in Egypt. And Syria Al-Gad is an organization that exists here in Egypt. And I feel as if there were a lot of similarities between our organization and between Syria Al-Gad. And the two biggest ones that stand out for me are that Syria Al-Gad and St. Andrew's Refugee Services, we rely on refugees to deliver the work that we do for refugees. And that does something to an organization. That makes you feel every single day the absolute importance, necessity, and immediacy of our work. There is no taking a day off because it is part of the lives of the people who work for you and who work for the refugee populations. And because of that, I have been amazed at what Syria Al-Gad has been able to achieve over the last 2.5, 3 years since I have known Dr. Molam and since I have known the work of Syria Al-Gad. And I think a big part of it is because of that. And that has always impressed me. We work with Syria Al-Gad in a number of different ways. We have provided teacher trainings, we've provided English classes, we cooperate and communicate on medical cases, on cases for resettlement, we deliver psychosocial workshops, and we help Syrians together. And Syria Al-Gad have helped us a great deal in what we've been trying to do, forever kindly providing us with space in 6th of October and El Obor, helping us with their knowledge and their information of the Syrian refugee communities in Cairo, which has made us much smarter, which has made us much better in our work. And so I'm extremely pleased to be here today among friends, and I'm extremely proud of the partnership of St. Andrew's Refugee Services with Syria Al-Gad, and I would encourage anyone here to use the great skill and expertise and the commitment of Syria Al-Gad to making the lives of Syrian refugees in Egypt better. So thank you, and thank you for having me here today.